Here with more reaction, Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham. Senator, I don't know. I mean, I think if I flew to China and I had no experience in private equity and I got $1 billion, $1.5 billion deal, I'd be pretty happy. But doesn't look good, does it?
Well, you know, we've looked at the Trump family and the Trump connections to Russia every way you can. It's about time somebody look at the connections of the Ukraine. Here's my question. When the vice president told the Ukraine, we will take the money away from you unless you fire the prosecutor, did he have a conflict of interest because the prosecutor was looking at his son? Tomorrow, when we read the transcript, is there any evidence at all that President Trump threatened to take aid away from the Ukraine unless they investigate Biden or do his political bidding?
The answer I hear is no, Senator. What do you hear?
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you this. If the answer is yes, I'll be on your show very disappointed with our president. If the answer is no, this is Russia times 2 times 10.
Do you see even just the rush to judgment? Because we don't know what's here. We do know the Inspector General, Ed Henry, just broke the story.
Right.
That the Inspector General, that so-called whistleblower had a political agenda. They don't know any of the facts. They don't know any of the details. Now, if Donald Trump is going to release his transcripts with Ukraine and the Ukrainian president, I'd like the release of Joe Biden's conversations with world leaders when he was vice president, and maybe Barack Obama's as well. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's very fair, but I'd like to know if the whistleblower was not part of the conversation, who told him or her about it?
Well, that sounds like, do you think somebody in the deep state that will get you 6 ways but Sunday, according to Chuck Schumer, got him?
Let me tell you, somebody told this person about a phone call they were not part of. Did they have a political agenda? Did the whistleblower have a bias? I'll make an offer tonight on television to the whistleblower. If you want to testify under oath to the Senate Judiciary Committee, you're welcome to do so, because I want to find the truth. And here's another question. Was there a reason to withhold aid to this new Ukrainian administration until we knew who they were? And was it okay for President Trump to withhold money to try to get other countries to give more? These are the questions that somebody needs to ask and answer.
Senator, is this going to, politically speaking, how do you think this plays out for the Democrats?
Well, it tells me that they think they're going to lose at the ballot box. The only reason they're trying to impeach the president is because they don't believe they can beat him at the ballot box, or they're trying to destroy him. It comes down to this. If there's no evidence that President Trump tried to coerce the Ukrainians into investigating Biden and withholding aid to the Ukraine unless they did Trump's bidding against Biden, then there's nothing here. That would be the only thing that would bother me. It would be okay for the president to tell the Ukrainians, hey, if this prosecutor was fired for a corrupt purpose, maybe you should look at it.
How do you get to a point where a Democratic Party, beyond wanting open borders, everything free, crazy new Green Deal, Medicare for all, $36 trillion, some estimates, $94 trillion for the new Green Deal. We only take in $4 trillion a year. They want to stack the U.S. Supreme Court. They want to get rid of the Electoral College. And it seems that this party has lost any sense of constitutional governance. My reading of the Constitution is the enumerated powers of commander-in-chief lie with the president. How does the president effectively be the commander-in-chief if his phone calls are being spied on and leaks are coming out from people that have political agendas, and that this is secondhand information? Where did it come from, and how is it that they got so much wrong about it already?
Well, I think what we want to know is the whistleblower telling us something that they know to be true firsthand? Are they repeating gossip given to them by somebody else? But here's what Trump has done that's so important. You can read it for yourself tomorrow. The one thing about this president that I admire in this circumstance, he's releasing a phone call to a foreign leader that you can make your own judgment. And if there is no evidence that Donald Trump tried to intimidate the Ukraine by withholding military aid unless they investigated Biden, there's nothing here. But there's a lot here when it comes to Biden. Did he have a conflict of interest when he threatened to withhold aid to the Ukraine unless they fired a prosecutor looking at his son? Now, that needs to be looked at. Was there a reason to withhold aid to the Ukraine after this election, apart from Biden. A lot of people in DOD were worried about this new administration, Sean. Should we give them weapons because we don't know how close they are to Russia?
Let me ask you this. If we're at a point here where this is what we're going to do, is we're now going to spy on presidents and release it,
Really?
I don't know where this all ends up, Senator. Is America less safe tonight as a result of this?
America is far less safe when a phone call between the President of the United States and a foreign leader, a whistleblower, files a complaint when they were not part of the phone call. America will be less safe if there's two standards of justice in this country. If the Democratic vice president can threaten to withhold aid to a foreign country unless a prosecutor is fired who's looking at his son and nothing happens, and they're willing to impeach President Trump on a phone call they know nothing about.
Last
That's
question.
dangerous.
Can you give me any scenario under which a vice president of the United States is going to hold out $1 billion? I'm not going to give it to you unless you fire a Ukrainian prosecutor? Why?
I can only
That's investigating his own son. That's the big story to me, Senator.
Real quickly, what if Mike Pence calls somebody tomorrow and threatened that government with aid being withheld unless you fired a prosecutor who was looking at Mike Pence's son? Do you think that might make it in the news?
Well said, Senator. Thank you, Senator Graham, South Carolina. With more